Hello. Well, I made it to 48, and yeah, happy days. No dramas at all. Just nice, 48 now. 10th of the 7th, 1972. So it was the 10th of July. It's the 12th when you'll probably see this. But last Friday, I was 48, and we went out for a nice meal last night at Summit 28, a place called Summit 28 in Hindley, near Wigan. And we had a nice big juicy fat 16-ounce T-bone steak, or I did, and it was very, very nice. Anyway, back to the plots. We're going to be doing some clearing out of the beds today. I'm going to clear that big brassica bed and prepare it for some more growings, some more plantings, some more seedlings, whatever it is I had to throw in it. But the slugs have decimated our crops that were in there, so they're coming out, and it's going to be dealt with, that slug situation, and the ground's going to be reinvigorated and prepared for the next batch of whatever I decide to grow in it. All right, so I'll catch you later. I'll probably see you at the end, and God bless. Enjoy. Ta-da. Bradley's brassica cage will be a brassica cage once again, because we're going to get the cauliflower, the broccoli, and the Chinese cabbage in there. A little bit of weeding, plenty of slug pellets. Sorry guys, but we're not going to be losing all the bloody brassicas to the slugs again. You can forget that idea. They're going to be totally pelleted. No wildlife can get into there. So your cats, your foxes, hedgehogs, any sort of mammal, birds, that kind of thing, they can't get in there. So the only things that are going to be eating those pellets are the slugs, and that's what they're going to get a big feast of. Slug pellets. Sick and tired of them. I'll show you why now. That's why. They've been all over these, the little gets. We had the volunteer potatoes in here. We got 3.5 pounds of volunteer potatoes out of this as well, which is not too bad. But yeah, the slugs are just all over them, and you can see there that the hearts are not forming properly because of XYZ. You know what I mean? It's a slug attack. I think there's one. Look at that swine. They're all over them, so they're coming out. These I am going to be doing the I'm going to be doing the slug pellets today. I'm going to clear all that out, sort it out the bed, and then get plenty of slug pellets in. And I might leave it for a couple of days actually, because we're due some dry weather. I might leave it for a couple of days before I do any sowing or whatever in there, or planting in there, just so the slugs can have a good feed on the pellets and kill themselves off. Little buggers. Yeah, sick and tired of them. Right, so I've just gone through that big brassica bed where the slugs had attacked, and you can see my bum mark there where I've been shuffling along on my bottom to get all the weeds out, which I have done, but it's going to need a tilling and it's going to need an amending. I've managed to rescue a few wayward potatoes there as well that were lurking about up there from the volunteer spuds that we had. So there's another, I don't know, about 6 ounces I'd say there. So we've had about 4 pounds of potatoes out of that were just volunteers that had grown from little mist potatoes that we had in there last year, and they came through with the brassicas. So we've had about 16 heads of lettuce out of that, along with all the brassica. But it's not done fantastically well this year because of the slug issue. So I'm going to get a tiller to that. Where's my mate, a tiller? Here's a tiller the Hun. So I'm going to work my way from the top back towards you. I won't film all of it because your tears will be flowing down your face of boredom, but I'll make a start. Just want to break the surface up, loosen the surface up, because it's got compacted from the other plants and the rain that's been on it over the last few weeks.
So I'm going to go down about 3 or 4 inches with a tiller in preparedness for the next batch. All right, let's crack on. Here's the tiller. So we're just gently breaking the surface. As I say, it's been weeded. This might uncover the odd potato as well that's been lurking underground. You never know. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through all of this, loosening the soil as we go to a depth of about 3 inches. And that'll prepare the bed then for the new plantings. All right. You probably can't hear me. Well, I'll crack on with that, complete it, and I'll see you in a bit. Okie dokie. Right. So that's been tilled. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to put some amendments in there. Now, I'm going to reinvigorate it. Okay. Now we want leafy greens. Nice leafy greens. We've got the Chinese cabbage. And I want the best Chinese cabbage. The bugs have already started having a go at it because it's just in the standard sort of non-nutritious compost. It just starts at the moment. So for the cabbage that's going to go in there, and the leafy greens that I want to be growing, because I'm going to be sowing some spinach in there as well, and other leafy greens, I'm going to amend the soil with magnesium salts, which is basically it's Epsom salt with more magnesium added. And what that does is it gives you good, strong, healthy leaves, prevents any yellowing on your leaves. And this is a growth booster called sulfate of ammonia. So that's what we're going to be using. Now we're going to give it a sprinkle, just a light sprinkling of each one of these, because you don't need a lot. For a vegetable garden, you only need 35 grams of each per square metre, which is a light sprinkling really. You sprinkle it on the top of the soil, and then I'll be working that in again with the tiller. Also added into that, we're going to put some 6X, difficult to say without the tooth, 6X concentrated farmyard manure. Oh. This stuff. Oh, smells like bull to me, that. Hope it doesn't sound like bull, but it smells like bull. But that's what we're going to be putting in there, into that bed. Now that bed is around about 12 metres square. So that is about a third of each one of these. Right, we'll need. And I'm going to put a good handful of that stuff, like a double handful, for every square metre. So that's 12 double handfuls are going to be sprinkled on top. The sulfate of ammonia, and also your magnesium salts. Now we're not putting any fruit in there, fruiting plants in there. So sulfate of potash, I think, is another one that you can add in there, and that's for your fruits. but we don't want fruits in there, so we're not going to be using that. But I'm going to add that in now. I'm not going to actually be planting it out today, but I'm going to add that in, work it in, and let the rain water it in for a couple of days before I do actually plant anything in there. And hopefully those amendments will give us good healthy crops. Can't see why they wouldn't. They should do. Fingers crossed. And then the final step will be to put on the slug pellets, because while that's empty, there's nothing for them slugs to eat apart from slug pellets that I'm going to be throwing on there. And then when I do plant out me Chinese cabbage, I'll be putting a bit of sheep's wool around as well to try and prevent them slugs from getting onto them. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right, we'll crack on with that. Oh, and I'll show you. Magnesium salts. I'm using this stuff because I've got it. I was given it as a present. So why not, you know? Why not throw it in to the mix? Just giving it a light dusting. So there's your magnesium salts, and that's about 1/3 of a bag that's been used there, which is what we said we were going to do. And we'll do the same with the sulfate of ammonia. Basically, innit? Sulfate of ammonia. Look at them crystals. Crystals. Lovely. Simply lovely. The same script with this. Riveting TV, this. Riveting. You still awake? Have another coffee to pick you up. I can't fast forward. I don't know how to fast forward it. I'll have to look into that. Again, about 1/3 gone. Okay, so next we're going to be putting in the 6X. So I'll do that, and then we're going to work it all together, save me a job, keep working it all the time with the tiller. I'm just going to do it once it's all been put in there. Excuse me. Once it's all been applied, I'll work it all in then, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, and jobs are good in. Right, so again, that's been applied, the 6X, sulfate of urea, and the magnesium salts. I'm going to work that in again with a tiller. Here he is, a tiller. So that it's all a good even mix. I found another little potato. Got in my pocket. And another little potato. Any little weeds or whatever that you've missed come to the surface as well during this process. You can whip them out. Because you don't really want to be feeding the weeds, do you? The weed population. So once again, as I say, I'm going to be working my way all the way through this bed, which should take me about 5 minutes to do. And I'll get back to you. Okay? Okay. So it's been tilled in, and it's been raked in. It's relatively flat now, the soil. Last but not least, we're going to deal with the slug problem. So we'll do that now. You can see on the top of those, you just with these ones, you just turn it. So it's like that. And it can dispense now in a gentle scattering. Now, because there's nothing else for them to eat in here, hopefully, when they do come out, they'll be eating this stuff. And that'll be the last supper, if you like. With the slimy gets. Because I'm going to put the nets back over this, obviously, any wildlife, birds, hedgehogs, anything else really that wants to come along and have a nibble won't be able to get to it, but the slugs will. Okay. Now I am going to be introducing the Namaste slug stuff, the soil nematodes, at some stage, and see how they get on, because the soil nematodes are an introduced parasite that will go into the ground, and they'll infest the slug and weaken it, disrupt the reproductive cycle, that kind of thing, and hopefully keep the slugs at bay. But it's a constant battle really against the slugs on here, especially with all the rain that we've been having. We've had about 6 weeks now of rain, and that's helped the slugs no end. It's really been a plus point for slug production, if you want to call it that. They've sort of gone boom. The population of slugs has gone massive. They're everywhere. So we're just going to try and deal with them as best as we can, and that's the best way. I think it's certainly been the most effective way. We've used it in the 2 beds where we had great results from the brassicas. Hardly any, if at all, damage from the slugs. But this one, and another bed that we didn't do that with, there's been practically catastrophic results, down to the slugs, the slug problem, and it has been a problem. So yeah, it's either that or lose the crops, and I'm not losing the crops. So if you can sort of accept that, then that's good, you know. We try and be as fully organic with the pest controls as we possibly can, and be judicious with things like this. But needs must when the devil or the slug calls the tune. So yeah, we've got to keep on top of them, or we won't have anything to eat. All right. So I'll catch you in a bit. That bed should be all right, though. I'm guessing now that should be fine and dandy, shouldn't it, for leafy green production? So yeah, fingers crossed.
Okay, stay tuned for next time, where we're going to be doing some potato harvesting and also some harvesting of other vegetables and other bits and pieces. Right, if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. This is Guru Mafinda signing out, and remember, we love you all, don't we, Mrs. Moo? Squeaked then, she didn't make a noise. I'll see you later on. Bye bye.